Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for those who are on time. We definitely have some stragglers, but people are signing up and coming on board right now. So going to give maybe 1, maybe 2 minutes more, and we're going to go ahead and have some fun here. But thank you. It means a lot for those who are on time, though, okay? All right, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're in the country. My name is Josh Elohim. I'll be your co-speaker today, presenter, with also Taysa Flint from Protective. So just some quick housekeeping for this purpose of this call. Everyone's going to be muted so we can get through smoothly. We're going to have a Q&A session towards the end. So really looking forward to some of those questions. Really excited about Protective's executive universal life product for group carve-outs here. So well, I'm going to, again, Taysa from Protective is doing a phenomenal job for us. We've truly been working with her for a while. She's got a lot of experience in the space, and she also has all the resources need be to go ahead and help you get some census and close some of these cases here. So I'm going to step out of the way here and let Taysa do what she does best. Thank you. Great to meet you, Taysa. Thank you so much for the opportunity, okay?
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. And welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. The purpose of today's presentation is to introduce you to Protective's group term carve-out product called Executive UL. And the average case size is 6 figures. Some are even 7, so it can be a very nice payday for you. And another nice aspect about this program is that our third-party administrator does the quoting, the implementation, and the administration of the product. So what is a group term carve out exactly? It's selling life insurance in the corporate market to medium and large companies that want to offer an additional life insurance benefit to their highly compensated employees in an effort to reward and retain them. So the company will carve these highly compensated employees out of the group term plan, and they'll offer them a better model of insurance. The problem with the group term plan is that it doesn't work in multiples of salary for these highly compensated employees. If you're someone making $50,000 a year and your group term policy is maxed out at $200,000 a year or capped at $200,000 a year, that's 4, 5, or even 6 times your income. But if you're a highly compensated employee making $200,000 a year, that's not even 1 multiple of your income. So the executive carve-out plan offers much higher death benefits than traditional group term plans, and it's completely portable as well. The executive UL is not group insurance, it's actually individually owned policies where in most cases the employee is the owner and they choose their beneficiary, and the company pays the premium. It's normally designed as a low-cost plan, so companies just paying for the cost of insurance. So we're going to see an increasing premium every year. And the sale of this product is going to be to the CFO, CEO, or benefits manager of the company. But just to reiterate, Executive UL is not group insurance. It's an individually owned policy purchased by the company for the benefit of their highly compensated employees. The Executive UL was designed with the help of our TPA, Diane Eskin, and they've worked in the group term carve-out market for over 20 years, and we'll talk a little bit more about them later on in the presentation. But the Executive UL is a corporate paid program, so there's no voluntary aspect to it. The corporation has to define the classes of employees, and then every employee in that class must participate in the plan. It has a guarantee type issue underwriting, so that means no exam and labs are required, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on another slide. The product itself offers some customizable case designs. Most companies like to design it with that minimum funding that I mentioned, but it is customizable because it's on a UL chassis, and the product itself is actually a current assumption UL. Here are the product specifications, and they're important because they can help you identify prospects. The minimum number of lives is 25. The age availability is 18 to 85. And I should mention that we do have some temporary COVID-19 underwriting guidelines in place. So currently the max issue age is going to be 79. We're not offering coverage to anyone 80 and above at this time. It hasn't been a big deal. Most people are retired by the time they're 80, but it will be nice to have that flexibility once those COVID-19 guidelines are lifted. And I'd also like to note that we do have a Part 2 non-med that's going to be required for anyone age 71 and above. The employee prospects must be white collar, earning $100,000 a year or more. The risk class is gender distinct unismoker. So that means it's less expensive for females than it is for males. And we're not going to ask the employees about their smoking habits. The rate schedule is guaranteed for 5 years. The minimum death benefit is $100,000 and the maximum death benefit is $5 million. The case size and demographics do determine the maximum benefit amount, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But what companies really like about this program, other than its very competitive premiums and the high death benefits, is that 5-year rate guarantee. Most of our competitors only offer a 3-year guarantee, so the 5-year guarantee is a very big selling point for us. And something else companies really like, and agents as well, is the underwriting. It is so much easier than those traditional individual underwritten products, right? So we already know it has one risk class, that gender distinct unismoker, and there's 2 eligibility questions. In the past 90 days, have you been actively at work on a full-time basis? And in the past 90 days, have you missed 5 or more days due to illness or medical treatment? And just a reminder, if you're 79 or older, we'll also ask for that Part 2, or 71 through 79, we'll ask for a Part 2 non-med. We already know the minimum group size is 25 lives. We can't do groups smaller than that at this time. And then you'll notice that formula at the left-hand side of the screen, the bottom left-hand side, and this is how we determine the maximum death benefit. So we'll take the number of employees. So if you've got a group of 25 through 49, we'll take the number of lives and times it by 40,000. And if you've got a group of 50 or more, we'll times it by 50,000. So for example, if you had a group size of 30, we would times the number of lives by 40,000. That's 1.2 million. That means that the maximum face amount per employee would be $1.2 million. And I do also want to note, because this does come up a lot, can we write foreign nationals working for US-based companies? And the answer to that question is yes, as long as they don't make up 25 or more % of the eligible employees. So what are the opportunities? Well, 10% of them are actually corporate owned situations where the company is the owner and the beneficiary. An example of that would be for keyman or buyout. For keyman, we've got some ESOPs where they insured their key people. Buyout situation is going to be for a group where there's a lot of partners, like a law firm or medical office. We've had some companies use this program as their buyout insurance. The rest of the opportunities, I'd say about 90% of the opportunities are going to fall where the employee is actually the owner and chooses their beneficiary. And these replacement opportunities, that's definitely the lowest hanging fruit. Our product is so competitively priced that if you're reviewing a current group term carve out with one of your clients, you'll be able to save them quite a bit of money by switching to Protective's plan. We'll also have that five-year guarantee they probably don't have. So replacement business is definitely the lowest hanging fruit. We're also seeing a lot of companies just add this on top of their group benefit. So rather than carving out their highly compensated employees from the group term plan, they're letting them keep their group term and they're just adding this as an additional benefit on top. We're also seeing a lot of brand new carve outs. We all know that there's some companies or some industries, I should say, that are really struggling to recruit and retain those highly, those top performers, I guess I should say. And so brand new carve outs are a nice way for these companies to differentiate themselves. And then the last one you'll see is cash value situations. You can overfund this product if you'd like. It is a current assumption UL. Its current rate's 2.75%. So it's not the sexiest cash builder out there. There are some products that are designed as cash builders. This is more of a protection sale. But if you did want to overfund this product, you do have the flexibility to do so. So you'll want to target large to medium companies with at least 25 employees who are earning $100,000 or more. And you'll want a company large enough that if they decide to carve out these highly compensated employees, there's still enough other employees left to keep their group term plan in place. And examples of industries where this product fits very well is healthcare, law, retail, technology, consulting, education, engineering, and financial services. And we're not limited to this specific industry set. We just have to make sure that they are white collar. So people working in an office type setting. We did have, as an example, an auto dealership where we're insuring the general managers, the highly compensated executives, and their top salespeople. But we've also had groups like the Stuntman Association come to us, the Maine lobster fishermen come to us. So they qualified in terms of compensation and number, but they weren't white collar employees, so they did not qualify for the program. So it's just important you keep that in mind when you're thinking about introducing this product. So if you aren't familiar with Diane Eskin, they are a nationally known TPA, and they've been in business for over 40 years, and they've been in the group term carve-out business for over 20 years. And they're SOC 2 accredited. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay, but it's important to note that yes, they are SOC 2 accredited, and that means that they have the highest level of data security. And that's one of the questions that comes up frequently when we're talking about implementing this plan. And basically, we can assure the CEOs that their employee data is not going to get hacked because of this high level of data security that Diane Eskin has for us. Rick Eskin is the principal, and he's the lead in the sales process should you want to use him for that. And his son Jake is also heavily involved in the sales process, and he runs all the quotes for us. So if you do have an opportunity, you'll definitely get to know Rick and Jake. And as I mentioned at the beginning, they do the quoting, the implementation, and the administration of the product. So if you do have a client and you would like help with the sales process, they are happy to step in and help you. We've got a lot of producers who will get it to the quoting stage, and then they'll just step aside and let the TPA take over and basically close the deal for them and collect their commission. We've got other producers who say, hey, Diane Eskin, I don't want you talking to my client at all. I will be the go-between, and that's fine too. They're happy to work with you however you'd like, as much or as little, I should say. So this is a really cool true story where one advisor used the executive UL to lead to additional sales opportunities. So this is what happened. He sold this program to a company. They insured 93 lives. They each bought $1 million of coverage, and he earned $55,000 of commission. And then Rick Eskin at Diane Eskin said, hey, why don't you ask the COO if you can have permission to reach out to these employees and ask them if they would like some help with some individual insurance planning. So the COO said, sure, I'll even shoot him an email, let him know you're going to reach out to him. So this advisor contacted all 93 employees. He made 24 additional sales, 21 term and 3 IUL sales, and he earned an additional $67,000 in commission. So the total comp stemming from the sale of the executive UL was $120,000. So it can be a great opportunity to add some additional clients to your book of business as well. So what we've found is that these large to medium companies, they're not calling producers and saying, hey, do you guys have an executive group term carve-out product for us? We're trying to recruit and retain more employees. A lot of them don't even know these types of programs exist. So it's definitely something that you have to prospect for. And we all know that the first step in prospecting is identifying our target customer. So who do I know in a medium to large white collar company that's either a benefits manager, the CEO, CFO, or an executive? And once we've identified that target market, we're going to approach those people and we're going to say, hey, would you be interested in reviewing a group term carve out option? And if they say, I don't know, why would we want to do that? Well, it may lower the overall cost of their group life insurance plan, and it will allow for a more competitive benefit to help recruit and retain those top performers. And if the company said, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at it. All we need is a census to run the quotes. You just get that census over to Josh. He gets it to Protective and Diane Eskin. We can get those turned around in 24 to 48 hours. And at that point, we usually schedule a conference call. And from there, depending on where we are in the sales process, we'll decide what the next steps are. And that basically is the executive UL in a nutshell. So short and sweet. And Josh, if you're okay, we can open it up for questions if anyone.
Absolutely, Tessa. It was a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We do have a lot of employee benefit agents on the call, as well as probably property casualty agents as well. So I know this is the right niche for you. I know census is probably your middle name when it comes to, do you know, maybe you could just explain, I know there's questions already coming in here, but what do they need on the census, just specific, if there's anything specific they need to have?
Yeah, so we don't need a lot to actually quote the case. We can accept a blind census. We would just need dates of birth, their gender, and the benefit amount that you would like to see. We'll take your word on the fact that they are white collar and that they are making $100,000 or more a year. So that's the minimum we would need to run a quote. And then, of course, if you wanted to go through the underwriting process, we need to get a little bit more data. And I can definitely send a sample census to you, that Josh, that you can distribute to the rest of the field if anyone's interested in seeing what that looks like.
That would be great. And we can send it out to anyone that wants it there, the census of what's needed there. So again, I know this is a really good opportunity. If anyone who's on the call for some reason does not have access to our life insurance software, there is a place in the chat box where you can click on and sign up for our complimentary software. If for some reason that's not working, you can just put it in the questions there and put your NPN number in, and we'll get you set up for your complimentary life insurance software. We're truly, I've written several of these cases for everyone on the call. They're absolutely phenomenal. The hardest part is having the group, right? That's getting the clients is the hardest part here. Well, I think many of you on this call have not one or two, but have multiple clients that this could be a really good fit for. And like Taysa mentioned, if they have group term insurance, you could be saving them some money. So the alternative or the replacement, if they have something like this, is truly the lowest hanging fruit. The only way that you know, though, is just to ask the question. And if you want to just send us over a census before you speak to them, we can give you some options as well if you want. We know that if we can get those census in-house, we're going to change some lives here. There's no question about it. So again, all you have to do is send it to me, send it over to me. We'll go ahead and get you what you need there, and then we can give you some options. So thank you again, Taysa. We're going to open it up for questions now. Please go ahead and ask your questions, and we will go ahead and give it a second here, and we'll go ahead and answer these questions, and hopefully we can get help some of your business owner clients to reward, recruit, retain their current and future employees. One thing that just popped in my head, Taysa, maybe you can answer this question. What happens if a new employee comes on board and they want to get insurance for that new person? Because we know people come, right? New people come.
Yeah, come and go. So the third-party administrator, they're going to handle all of that for you. Diane Eskin will add them to the plan, and that's a first-year comp for you as a producer if somebody joins the plan. And that's, I did mention this is normally designed as a minimum funded product. And that is because people are coming and going, right? So companies don't want to overpay for the death benefit. So that's why that minimum funded design is so popular. And it ends up being less expensive than a level pay because we've got the newer people coming in that tend to be younger and the older people retiring and dropping off the plan. So it works really, really well that way.
I call that, by the way, the gift that keeps on giving. So
Yeah.
because again, every time a new employee comes on board, that's a new case and a new compensation. Yep. So, but again, it is a great recruiting tool as well for these employers. So I call it the 3 R's: reward, recruit, retain all the current and future employees. So Thank you for that, Taysa. We got a few more questions coming in here. So someone said this sounds similar to a Section 162 executive bonus program. Is there a difference between these, or are they kind of these two programs?
I mean, it's Section 162 may be a little more complicated than this. This is really a little, I guess you could use it as a 162 bonus because the company is paying the premium. It is an executive benefit, and the company can write off that premium that they're paying, assuming the employee is the owner and choosing the beneficiary. So, I guess you could consider it a Section 162 bonus, but the way we look at it is it's just a better model of insurance for those highly compensated employees. It's offering them a better insurance product than what you can get from group term with its higher death benefit, fully portable, and no benefit reduction at older ages. So it's an executive benefit. Hopefully that answered the question.
Perfect. And we can always go, we can always get the TPA involved if we need to really dive into the weeds. Yep. If we need to go there, we have that option as well.
Yes.
So just a few more questions here. So someone said, can this be offered to a nonprofit corporation?
Nonprofit, yes. I don't think we have any restrictions on the nonprofit whatsoever.
Perfect. And then someone said, what is the guaranteed rate versus the current rate?
The current rate is 2.75%, and I believe the guaranteed rate is 2% on that product. But let me double check and get back to you on that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate that, and we can always let you know for sure. Yeah. Someone said, do the employees pay the taxes on the premiums, or does the employer?
It would be the employee would pay the tax on the premium.
Perfect. And again, if we do need, these are great questions. Questions are good. So we want to answer as many as we possibly can here. And then if we need to go, into the weeds, we can always get the TPA on a call with your clients. Taysa, like myself, we're available to also help out. So these meetings are great like this because we can get a lot of people on the call, but it's also great to do a one-on-one just because we can answer your questions, face to face. So if you are the right agent for this and you have a look at the right clients, we're more than happy to jump on a one-on-one call with you. If we need, we can have the TPA in the call, get all your questions answered, and hopefully the census will start flowing, right? So that's the goal. I just want to put that out there. We are here to help you. You're not by yourself here. I promise you that, okay?
Yeah.
We got a few more.
I wanted to do a little follow-up to that the tax question. And obviously I'm not a tax expert, or we would want you to consult your, tax, your tax attorney or CPA. But I can tell you that the Table 1 IRS code is how those group term death benefits are taxed. So if it's 50,000 or more, with executive UL, the tax is just based on the premium. So it can be anywhere from 20 to 120% less than those Table 1 costs with the group term plan. So just something to note for the employee paying the tax on this benefit.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. So again, these are great opportunities. We have not because we ask not, right? So there's a lot of, it's just something you have to bring up. And I know you all have a lot of good relationships. If you are an employee benefit agent, you have a relationship with these employers. And from what I've seen, normally the employees, they get taken care of and they get their benefits. The people that we've seen that are really don't get the same love that they need is the executives, right? You'd be surprised, and maybe it could be, I don't have time. I'm not comfortable having those conversations with the high end. I don't want them to ask a question that I can't answer. That's where we come into play here. So if it's going to be a one-on-one sale, let's just say it's just one person. I've already mentioned this to all of you, but I'm more than happy jumping on a call and talking about, creating non-reportable tax-free income. I can talk about adding long-term care riders on an individual basis if you just have one person. But obviously, if we can handle a whole group here at one time, this is absolutely phenomenal. We all know it's hard to get one person to say yes to anything, right? Well, imagine trying to get 25 different people to say yes to something. Here, you can do it in all one clean swoop. So again, we've done these cases. I have a picture after we close one of these deals. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but took the family straight to Hawaii. It was a beautiful thing. So they do compensate you very well for these things. So we got a few more questions here, though. Someone said, can the employer pay the taxes as a double bonus?
If they want to, yes. Yep, they could do that if they'd like.
Perfect. Great questions. Great questions. Someone's going to do some business here. I'm not going to mention his name, but I actually have a meeting with him in about an hour with the client. So really excited to, great questions there, okay? Anything else you want to add there, Tayce? Anything that comes up that, oh, here's a question. Is this product available in all states?
It is available in all states, including Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Yeah.
Viva Las Puerto Rico. Okay, yes. I love it. So it is available in New York?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think the client that asked that might be from New York, if I'm not mistaken, but perfect. Well, listen, for anything to be available in New York is a miracle, right? So I'm originally from New York, so I get it. Perfect. So these questions have been great. Any other questions? I'll give it another minute here for questions. So again, if you need all we have to be able to get this, all we have to do is send us in a census. I'm actually going to see if I can take the screen. Are you good with the information here you need? If I can take the screen for a second?
Yep, absolutely.
Let me see if I can. Okay. Okay. Can you see my contact information here, Tayce?
I sure can.
Okay. If you need, so if I have a census, who do I send it to? You see me right here, this is me. Here's my email address. Shoot me over an email with the census. I'll work with Tayce and the team there at the TPA, and we can get you some numbers. If we have questions, we can jump on a meeting to answer any questions for you. Once we get those numbers back, again, we're gonna set up a time to go over everything with you. If you'd like to have the client on that call, we can. If not, you wanna wait, do it with us first, then we can have a call with the client. I promise you this, you are not here alone. This is not something you have to just do yourself. Now, you're all very smart. You hear a few of these, you'll probably want to do it yourself, but we're here to help you and support you every step of the way.
Yeah. Turns out there's not very many group term carve-out experts. I think it's a market that's ready to be tapped. There's not very many people selling or presenting this stuff. So it's a good opportunity.
And the piggyback on that, we all know when there's a new strategy out there and none of your employers have heard of it, you have a very good chance to be there first. And yeah, that's how America was claimed, right? We won't go there, but perfect. So if we can get there first and present these strategies. So I see people saying they have opportunities here. Again, shoot me an email with the census. There's my email address. Truly looking forward to helping out everyone here. I try to keep these around 30 minutes. We have a few other questions though. Let me just keep answering these if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
Someone said 25 employees have to purchase the plan.
Yeah, 25 minimum is the group size. So they have to, be white collar, making $100,000 or more, and we've got to have 25 minimum that fit that eligibility, basically.
Perfect. That's so, yeah. So listen, who would you say? Because obviously this is an executive carve out. So just to make sure you all understand, there could be 100 employees in this company. There could be 500 employees. What you can do, which is different from group term, is we can carve out the executives, right? So we can say, hey, out of these 250, we're going to take 50 people who are the highly compensated, right? Normally with group term insurance, you can't do that. If one person gets 100K, everyone gets 100K, correct? And that's the biggest difference here is we can discriminate here. We can carve out. The people on the census that you want to have in this plan, though, those carve outs do have to accept the plan. Does that make sense, everybody? So you do have to, so you can't say, here's 25 people. Now out of those 25, only 10 want it. So does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, it's non-voluntary. So the company has to define the group, and they can define it however they want. Maybe they say, I want all the VPs, or I want anybody making X, $100,000 or more a year. Maybe I want anybody making $150,000 or more a year to be eligible. However, the company decides to define it, everybody in that group, or that class, I should say, has to participate in the plan.
Perfect. Thank you. And then someone said, just to clarify, you can cover residents who are U.S. residents who are not in the U.S. citizens.
Correct. If we, as long as there's a U.S. based company, and if they've got foreign national employees working outside of the United States, we can include those people in the plan as long as they don't make up more than 25% of the population. And there is some additional nuance to it. We have to set up a trust, and there's a few little things, but the TPA can do help with all of that stuff. So if you have one of those cases or one of those situations, we definitely want to get on a call and make sure everybody understands what's required and how it's done. But it's definitely available with this program.
Perfect. Great questions, you guys. Good job. Someone said what if an employee has a pre-existing condition like cancer and they've been actively at work?
Yeah, that is, they have the 2 underwriting questions. So if they can answer correctly to those questions, they haven't missed a bunch of work recently or been hospitalized recently, they're going to qualify for the program. Now, I didn't mention this in the presentation, but it is important to know. So those group sizes of 49 or less, there is a minimum curve. So it's a layer of underwriting that goes on behind the scenes. It's nothing that you as a producer have to do, but it's basically, and they do it, I think, with group health insurance. It's similar to that anyway. It's a minimum curve, and it's basically looking for walking death claims. So if you've got a smaller group, we're going to run them through that minimum curve, and there is a chance that group could get declined. It's only happened twice since we've launched this product, but it's important to be aware of. And it's basically a prescription drug check is what it is. So group sizes 49 or less, we're going to run that minimum curve. Plus they've got the 2 underwriting questions. And if you're 71 or more, you've got a part 2, 71 or older, you have a part 2 non-med to complete. But that is all. No exam and labs, nothing like that. So 50 and older, group size is 50 or more, no minimum curve. So ideally, if I was a producer and I wanted, the least amount of underwriting, a group of 50 or more is definitely the easiest way to, or the easiest path in terms of just 2 underwriting questions.
Someone said, will this ever be available for groups under 25? I want you to answer, and then I'm going to add something onto that as well.
Yeah. We're looking at it. So there's a chance in the future, perhaps, But Josh, I think you're going to say you may have access to other carriers that can offer smaller size groups.
Don't
So
want to misspeak here, Taysa, but we do have access to other carriers that will go less than 10 is really the number. So 10 lives. So I don't want to, this is a great product and I don't want to take away from what's going on here. But again, if you do need something for 10 lives is the lowest that I can go. So that's something that we can do. So if you have questions about that, please just give me a call. Here's my contact information. And then we can potentially try to help you out there for 10 lives or more. Great questions, everyone. I'm so proud of everyone. I mean, today's Question Wednesday. I got to change my webinars from Tuesday to Wednesday. We get a lot of questions here. So I think you kind of answered this, but someone said, is there a smoker and non-smoker rate? So I think it's you to go ahead. You can answer that question.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. So yeah, it's good. So it's a unismoker rate. So we don't ask about the smoking habits. The only difference in the rate is gender distinct. So if you're a female, it's a little less expensive than if you're a male. So that's it. Just one rate class.
So smoke away. That's what I can. I'm not work for Protective, so I can say that, right? So yeah, let's get high. Just kidding. All right. So great questions, everybody. I really appreciate the opportunity. Is there any more? We might as well keep the party going here. But any other questions that we can answer now? Please, I want to make sure you understand you're not in this alone. We are here to support you. Protective's been around for an extremely long time. We're your back office support system here, your boss. So let us know what we can do, and hopefully the census will start flowing in. And yes, there will be a copy of this sent out tomorrow, so you will be able to hear it again. You have my contact number. You can email me. You can also book a meeting on my calendar if you have a potential client that you want to discuss this with. So you see right here, meet with Josh. I encourage you, obviously these guaranteed issues are great, the multi-life. I can also help out with, you have one business owner that wants to talk about retirement income or a permanent plan. I'm more than willing to help out. I'm very comfortable with the software, and I'm also very comfortable having these conversations. So please put me to the test. I have a 90% close ratio, not because I'm anything special. It's just because I can show people what we're looking at the same time. And that's when you see it and you hear it, that's when it sticks, and then we make things happen, okay? All right, well, again, thank you so much for everybody. We will go ahead and we'll get all your questions answered. You will get a follow-up from my colleague, Yanni, to answer any of the potential questions you have. And if you want to set up meetings, let's go ahead and do that. Taysa, as always, a pleasure. We should do this every week, right? What's stopping us, right?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Always, it's always fun. Love your energy.
I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to changing some lives here for the year end here. Let's get some census going, get some cases closed. Thank you, everyone, again. Everyone have a blessed day, and we will be in touch here.